Welcome to Torment, Tides of Numenera. The third time, I think. It's... You decide which should be our tide. Yeah, that's a nice rhyme. Halloin, Q without E. Nice to see you, as always. Halloin, the other cute girl. Cutie cat Tsitsi, welcome. Yeah, looking alright. So, third time Torment Tides of Numenera, and I think we're almost... No, we have stepped into the city. But I know how we will, how I will tell you where we've been. I'll just read out the journal. We haven't looked into the journal yet. This one. Quick save. How are you, Q without E? Something new? Anything new with you? Or not? Maybe? Deine glasses. What about meine glasses? Hallo in Mestemba. I'm surprised to see you here. But as you know, you can write in German, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I will try to answer in English, but if you don't understand, just write I don't help, and I say German. So, what we've done so far, the road so far. This is our journal. We haven't completed any quests, but our main quest is this one: Fallen to Earth. This is us. We are Stealthy Jack. That's not our name. The Stealthy is our descriptor, and Jack is our type, similar to a feat and class maybe in other role-playing games. Scusi. And these are our dominant tides, silver and blue tides. We haven't really gotten much info on them, but you can see what the silver and the blue tide means, and depending on our choices, our dominant tides will change. This doesn't really affect much, or you could say it always affects a little in everything we do. It affects how people react to us, it affects what quests we can do, and I think maybe our quest rewards. Reward, always a stupid word. Schick, oder? Yes, it is. Nice. Yes, it is. Everything's good, I think. And schick, oder? My glasses are very chic. So, our dominant tides right now, these are silver and blue, and I'll just tell you what that means. The silver tide represents prestige, power, and renown. People attuned to this tide desire admiration and respect, all the more because of the influence it gives them in the life of others. Leaders, celebrities, heroes, and autocrats are often attuned to this tide. The blue tide represents wisdom, reason, and enlightenment. People attuned to this tide seek information and the preservation of knowledge in all forms. Whether scientific or spiritual, scholars, teachers, guides, and mystics are often attuned to this tide. So this is what Stealthy Jack is all about right now. But about the quests. And it's always good to read them because I lost the thread a little in this game, and I don't know what we have done and what we should do. So let's read. I miraculously survived a fall from many kilometers above the Earth's surface, only to find myself in another unexpected situation. My only hope of stopping the sorrow, the creature that hunts me, is to climb inside the crystal resonance chamber and activate the device. Unfortunately, the resonance chamber was badly damaged by my fall, so it'll need to be fixed. Yes, this is where we fell into, the resonance chamber. Sub-entries. The two people who found me have conflicting opinions about where I should go for help. Eligern suggested that I speak with the Cultists of the Changing Guard, while Philethis directed me to the Rod of Truth. I've learned that the cultists of the Changing Guard are encamped around the Great Clock in Circus Minor. This is where we are right now. And I also learned that the Order of Truth is located in Government Square. We have chosen El-Jinto as our companion. This is the one. And Tibir is another companion we have right now, and we've picked him up in Circus Minor. So he's, I think, the first other companion we could have picked up aside from El-Jinto and or Cultists. It is our name. Let's do that. We are Stealthy Jack, pretty much. Last cast of doesn't really have that good a ring to it, I think, too. So yeah, we are Stealthy Jack. And the secondary quests we have, I think this is the oldest, so we'll start here. No, this is the newest. This is the oldest. Beleazar and the Beast. An Aeon priest named Beleazar wants to steal a Nychthemeron, or whatever it's pronounced, from its cage in Circus Minor. He intends to teleport the creature to another location so that it can be killed and dissected for study. And to do that, we have to affix the teleport nodule to the Nychthemeron's cage. Beleazar gave me a teleport nodule and he told me to attach the device to the Nychthemeron's cage. If I do as he asked, the Nychthemeron will be sent to the Reef of Fallen Worlds. I don't know if we will do that the way he asked, or if we will betray Beleazar and tell the Order of Truth what he's doing, because I don't think they like that. The Order of Truth is the organization that the Aeon priests are in. So an Aeon priest is in the Order of Truth. Borrowed and Lost. Falinda, a bookseller in Circus Minor, has accused me of borrowing a very rare book and never returning it. That doesn't sound like us. I have no memory of such a thing, so it seems likely that the Changing Guard was the real culprit, perhaps when he was wearing the body that is now mine. It seemed important to Falinda that I find and return the book. I need to find the book that I supposedly borrowed. Falinda didn't provide any clues about its whereabouts, but did mention that the book has a 5-colored sigil on its cover. Maybe 5-colored? I guess that's about the tides. Because they are silver, gold, blue, indigo, and red. Yes, these are the tides. Stay of execution. A man named Riz is slowly being executed in Circus Minor. His friend Tibir, this guy, asked me to help save him. Tibir has a plan to forge a stay of execution. Fake one. But he needs my help to get the materials for the forgery and deal with the authorities. Acquire a city official's badge from Sangolin in Government Square. Tibir's plan will require me to impersonate a city official, so I'll need one of the badges that all city officials possess. I can purchase a badge from Sangolin, who runs a clothing shop in Government Square. It might be possible to rally the spectators who have gathered to watch Riz die. If I'm persuasive enough, I could turn them against the execution and intimidate the officials into freeing Riz. This is the one, what I did the first time, as this is my second playthrough. So I'm interested in how this will turn out if we do it Tibir's way. The Sorrow's Prey. Zaufi, a sculptor in Circus Minor, witnessed the murder of a man by the Sorrow. So, remember, Circus Minor is where we are right now. The whole city is Sargus Cliffs. Circus Minor is one part of the city. And the Sorrow is the monster that hunts us. It looks... Maybe you will see it someday. Then you will know how it looks. It's hard to describe. But no, here, Sophie has some sculptures of it, so we can look at them. The same creature that is hunting me. Now he's obsessed with sculpting the moment of the killing, but all his attempts have been failures. He cannot immortalize the victim until he learns more about him. So we have to search for the Sorrow's latest victim at the Dendra Ohur chapel. Zaofi told me that the victim's body was taken away by the Dendra Ohur, probably to their chapel in the underbelly, and the underbelly is another part of Sargus Cliffs, of the city where we are in. It's downstairs, like the sewers, but way cooler, the underbelly. And the Dendra Ohur are known for eating people, and with that, also eating their memories, so they know what they did, what they knew. But we're not finished ready yet. So, there's also the Codex. I think I will tell you who we are traveling with. El-Jinto, a dour explorer and former Aeon priest with living, intricately designed tattoos that writhe across his forearms. El-Jinto thinks you might be the changing god. He is watching you closely. He can pull the tattoos from his arm as if they were wires under his skin, using them in battle to defend himself and his companions. He wears a faded grey duster that buttons from the neck down to the waist and has a number of pockets bulging with small pieces of equipment. Cultists is a woman whose consciousness has fractured itself through the dimensions. Her echoes shimmer through multiple realities. She refers to these alternative shadows as her sisters. She's a brilliant nano, and she seems to want something from you. Celestige wears a bright wardrobe of oranges and reds as if she were on fire. Her long metallic hair shimmers. She wears earrings, necklaces, bracelets, anklets, and belts of varying materials and workmanship. The last cast of That's Us. This is the male version, this is the female version, and I think it really... Maybe they should have made an asexual version because they look very similar, I think. You are the last cast-off, a discarded shell built to hold the consciousness of the changing god, a man obsessed with cheating death. You awoke within the dark fathom of your own mind after plummeting from orbit towards Circus Cliffs. It is a miracle that you managed to survive. And as the sorrow draws closer to you, you may not survive much longer. Tibia, our newest companion, is a charming rogue, a former mercenary, and an admitted confidence man, but not necessarily the bravest. He's quick with the blade, faster with his tongue, and prefers to lead from behind. Other characters. Other cast-offs. We are not the only cast-off. Those who have been birthed by the changing god's abandonment are known as cast-offs. Though it's speculated that a few hundred or more are scattered throughout Circus Cliffs and the wider protectorate, that's like the Landkreis of Circus Cliffs, no one knows how many there are. Reflection. When a person you meet in the real world, has made a strong enough impression on you, a reflection of that person is born within the calm of your mind, our subconscious. These are often distorted echoes of their true selves, but they might still hold secrets or untapped power. Well, the citizens. The people of Circus Cliffs are laborers, merchants, artisans, entertainers, bureaucrats, vagrants, and criminals. Many are descended from the first people who settled here almost 1,000 years ago. They are quite accustomed to the weird artifacts that are scattered about their city, but they are wise enough to avoid them. At least, most of them are. The changing god. Artist's version. The landscape, culture, and history of Circus Cliffs have been shaped in innumerable ways by the changing god. At one point in the distant past, he was a respected researcher and scientist, albeit flawed and selfish. But unlike most mere humans, the changing god is not confined to a single lifetime. For centuries, the changing god has continued his existence by transferring his consciousness into bodies of his own creation, casting off the many vessels that have held his mind. He has moved from life to life, whether to avoid pain, injury, or death, or to seek new sensations and experiences, to discover new lives and new civilizations, to boldly go where no one has gone before. What he didn't realize at first was that the bodies he left behind, though often left severely damaged, were not empty. Each time he tore his mind from one of these husks, a new consciousness was born inside, a new person with their own thoughts and dreams. This is us. The locations. Circus Cliffs, this is the city we are in, is one of the oldest human cities in Greater Garavia. Built upon the ruins of more ancient metropolises, it occupies the headland overlooking Garavia Sound, which switchbacks and cutouts in the bluffs creating broad avenues that wind down to the harbors. Humanity has filled the old streets with their own ramshackle constructions, building wherever they can find a place to stake their claim. Strange towers and remnants of lost worlds pock the city here and there, and old machines still hum in the artificial caverns beneath the city. It is in these caverns that you see the city's true geological strata, the detritus of forgotten times. Some neighborhoods close to the cliff's edges are in danger of falling into the bay below. So, about there, and this is the bay. Every year the city loses a little ground and a few more lives. Once the heart of the Sargus Protectorate, the city's fortunes have slipped, its territory shrinking to a small pocket of land surrounding the city. This is where we are right now, in Circus Minor, one of the prime markets in Sargus Cliffs. Circus Minor plays host to all manner of itinerant merchants and city spectacles. At its heart stands the clock, the machine once said to have unmoored the city in time during an invasion. All manner of public events happen here, traveling religious revivals, executions, performances, and more. It sits near the bottom of the city, very near the Reef of Fallen Worlds. Oh, so we are not here, but they are. Okay. Circus Minor. Yeah. And the Reef of Fallen Worlds. This is where we came from. This is where we landed when we destroyed the resonance chamber. Nowhere is the evidence of ancient civilizations more apparent than in the Reef of Fallen Worlds. In one section of the harbor, forgotten structures and abandoned war automatons break the surface of the water. This is prime pick for brave scavengers, but the place hides significant dangers for the unwary and the unlucky. The Beyond is... I'll tell you. The people of the Steadfast call the lands outside the kingdoms the Beyond, but what they really mean are the lands west of the Clock of Kala, north of the Southern Wall, and south of the Sicilian jungle. The communities of these places have their own laws, living independently of the Amber Pope. This is not where we are. And I think in this game we will never get to the Beyond. We are beyond the Beyond. So the Steadfast, the Amber Pope, Sicilian jungle, that's not really of interest to us, because we're on a different part of the earth. The Labyrinth. This is a place in our mind. Your mind is a strange place. The Changing God created some sort of psychic home for himself, a structure to contain his memories and consciousnesses. Reflections of people you once knew stand in the calm at the center of your mind, and fathoms below hide secrets and powers that your body once knew how to harness. Further exploration seems warranted, especially because the sorrow has infected you with its fragments. The Ninth World. This is the planet. The Ninth World is Earth, a world that has seen massive civilizations rise and fall over the course of 2 billion years since sentient life first arose. Civilizations that could rekindle a dying sun, seed the atmosphere with nanomachines, shape the continents themselves into a massive mega continent, become the seat of a vast interstellar empire, or make the fundamental forces of physics their playthings. These are the locations, these are the characters, the companions, and now to the creatures. The Nychthemeron. This is our bubblehead guy. Nychthemeron is a hovering biomechanical monstrosity. Its squid-like body mounted atop a hovering orb. Lasers and scalpers at its tentacles tips. During the day, it's a creature of rage and hate. At night, it is calm and rational. 2 explorers captured a Nychthemeron, displaying it in a cage of energy in Circus Minor. The Sorrow. This is what the Sorrow looks like. Very sorrowy. The Sorrow is an ancient horror that hunts the Changing God and all his creations, namely the cast-offs. When you woke deep in the labyrinth of your mind, you felt the Sorrow's inexorable pressure as you rebuilt your memories. When you emerged into the calm and spoke to the specter, kind of like a clerk in our mind, the Sorrow ripped its way into your mind and spilled its fragments into your psyche. And the Tabat, we talked to one member of the Tabat, named the Genocide. Q without E, you will remember him. Before humanity emerged on Earth about 1,000 years ago, the Tabat ruled Greater Garavia. They believed that conflict clarified them, and they thought of themselves as the perfect fighting force. Their chained guard, an enslaved machine intelligence called the Underspine, guided them and prophesied their future. They claimed to be the chosen people of New Earth and destroyed any who dared stand against them. That is, until they met the humans at Sargus Cliffs. This defeat led to their ruin, and when a massive detonation destroyed the underspine, the Tabat were finished. Only the genocide remains, the last remnant of a forgotten people. So, if you're not sure what this game is about now, you will never be sure, because it's a lot about reading and history and lore and learning to know the world. Getting to know the world. These are ciphers. One-use items that can be pretty cool. Maybe we should give our companions some. What I also like about this game is that every single item or cipher has a nice description. Sometimes as short as this one, but many times longer. Yeah, we've read that already. So, fresh vapors. Here's 10 points of intellect. Who can use that? Or who should use that? We have 7 intellect at most. He's got 6. He's got 6. And we'll keep that. 13 physical damage and confers bleeding. Maybe this we will give to Tibia because he's weak. Good. And this is where we are right now. This is Saofi, the sculptor in our that we've read about in our journal, and he wants us to tell him what did he want us to do? To help him. Yes, to get the corpse of the victim of the sorrow. Zaofi glowers blankly at the sky, his battered fingers sculpting the air, his lips moving silently. Oh, and where are the Dendrohur again? A pack of damnable corpse gobblers with pretensions of mysticism. You can find them in that chapel in the underbelly. Have you made any progress? None. I need to know who the victim was, what drove him. Without that knowledge, how can I capture him in stone? Okay. We've talked to all those people here. I think merchants without names are just merchants. We can't really talk to them.
Fine.
Sick of digestible food, yes. Who isn't? Canopied wagon beds lie forlornly against the wall.
Let's do it.
So, let's go to the slavers? How could that go wrong? Q without E. Should we go, or anyone else who's watching, should we go to the slavers? Or explore Circus Minor a little more? We haven't talked to these people yet. Or this one. This is Riz, the one we should save for Tibia. And neither did we talk to the changing guard cultists. This is the genocide, the member of the only living member left of the Tabat. If you remember what I just read it aloud. Slavers. Okay, it's slaver time. Go and grab your friends. No. Slaver. Don't talk to me, talk to the boss. This looks very uncomfortable.
All right.
Wasser ist live. Da 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 da. I guess you're not the boss? We stash slaves here. We don't sell them. The ones down below are bound for the bloom. All right, toll Maguur. So last check, mic check. Light check. Well, it's freaking bright, but I can't do anything about the sun, so we have to go through with that. Toll Maguur. As you approach, the wild-haired woman eyes you speculatively and whispers something to her companions. They burst out laughing, and a slight smirk plays about her lips. A breathing mask dangles from a cord around her neck, and you can... A breathing mask? Okay. And you can see where it has cut permanent grooves into her face. A breathing mask. Is it a breathing mask or a breathing mask? In Numenera, I can't be sure that it's not the second one. Let's say it's just a breathing mask. Maybe she's got asthma. Asthma? Is asthma in English? I think it is. She ruffles her hair, messing it still further, and sings out. Come to buy a slave, cast-off. If you come to me, you must want something of the sort. How do you know I'm a cast-off? Where are you? Maybe where you? It is. Okay. Then it's asthma. She's got asthma. Asthma. Sounds like she's got trouble with her butt. Okay. How do you know I'm a cast-off? The tattoo. I've had dealings with your kind before. I know about you. She rakes her fingers through her hair. If anything, the motion serves to obscure her vision even more. So, cast-off, I have information you might want. Of course, it comes with a price. What kind of important? What do you know? Yeah. You think you'll get it from me that easily? I don't think so. I know your type. You cast-offs. Another one of you can be trusted. I give you this information, you're gone before I can collect my prize. So you'll forgive me if I decline to say outright what secrets I hold.
Making a note.
One of my wards, has run off. She's taken a head wound, not my doing, and I've been watching after her. I don't know where she's gone, but I suspect she's headed to Cliff's Edge. Plenty of other urchins clamoring about the place, and she'd find it easy to blend in. Sadly, my troop and I are detained here, so we can't go ourselves. She's a scrawny child named Rin. Name of Rin. Head wound, but it's covered by dark, curly hair, has a little necklace around her throat, babbles about her guards. Go get her for me, and I'll tell you what you want to know. Answer a few questions for me first. Fine. Yeah. As the name of the stream is, you decide. We are Stealthy Jack, a former pirate and cast-off. But I thought we're a nice pirate, not a slave-selling pirate, because I think slavery is a little bad. Even worse than stealing stuff. Why even worse? Of course it's worse than stealing stuff. Stealing people. Okay. Tell me about yourself. I'm a slave. I'm the last person you want to make an enemy. I've got a reputation for coming through on my word. Nothing else need concern you. Can we talk about you again? No, okay. What can you tell me about the Order of Truth? You want to deal with them? Be my guest. Those pompous Aeon priests are up by Government Square. Think they can unlock the secrets of the past, but they are not focusing on what's important, which is creating for the future. They say they are studying, learning, but the fact is they are not doing anything useful. Don't let them tell you otherwise. Order of Truth? I've told you what I think. I don't deal with them. No point in discussing them further. Yeah, piratey is not slavery. I think in reality a part of it is, but not in our reality. Cult of the Changing God, what about them? Her lips curl. Delusional meaning seekers. They spend their time chasing their imaginary deity, ignoring what it means to be alive. Ooh, what has he done now? They say. Can it tongue his divine arse? As if knowing his life makes theirs any better. By studying his actions, they might be able to replicate his successes. If studying his life provides meaning to theirs, who are you to judge? They are misguided. The only way to understand life is to experience it. Piracy, yeah, not piratey, now that you mention it. What do we think about the cult of the changing god peoples out there. I think everything that's called a cult can be good, but I mean, we're talking to slavers, so I don't know if her opinion really is anything to live by. 2. Okay. Fuck you, Maguur. Who am I to judge? Just another person watching some dim globes waste their lives on a fruitless pursuit. They can follow that fraud all they like. Totally up to them, but don't expect me, to cheer stupidity on. Anything? I've told you what okay. I have some questions about Circus Cliffs first. Ask someone who cares. I think the city's a sewer. And slavery? It's not so bad, not horrific. Almost no one sells them for parts anymore. Fact is, most of them go down to the Bloom, where they can work off their debt to society by opening a maw or two. It's not a forever thing, it's a punishment. It's a punishment. What's the point? We catch the people who deserve to be slaves. They work off their punishment in the Bloom, that's it. Okay. Yeah, you can. I have, maybe I shouldn't say that too loud, but I have no sensory bot in my chat, so at first everything's allowed, but as long as it doesn't, as it's not too bad, and you are typing other things, it's totally fine. But you can also, or I can, and I think you can too, tap on the message, but I can't do that on my phone, and delete it. But you don't have to. I mean, she is an asshole, so yeah. Let's stick to that. Okay, so. Slavery is a punishment. Okay. Again. Farewell. Sure. Okay, she is... So it's the nice kind of slavery. The punishment slavery. Like prison, but working more? I don't know.
Let's go.
We've talked to them.
Gladly.
Haven't talked to them, but we will do that later. Ooh, it's gone.
Gladly.
I like these shadows here of these flying creatures. It just gives you... It makes the world larger than it is. Because, you know, there's stuff out there you will never see. Or maybe you will, but you don't know. Subtle energy plays along the cables. The whether to prepare the fish for consumption or deter their theft, you can say. Okay. Yeah. Don't steal the fish!
Alright.
Circus townsperson. Did you see the falling star? It landed in the reef, I think. That's how townspeople talk. My friend here says that a star fell into the reef. I say it was a moon at most.
On my way.
I hear there's good salvage in the waters down there. Some folks fish for it in the underbelly.
He looks like a pirate. I want your hat. No, I think he's a levy, a guard in Circus Cliffs. Ooh, leave area? No, later. The nice kind. Autochthon? What's an autochthon? It's unhealthy, this language. It's chewy and full of strangeness. He's boring. The circus should go to the another bar. I saw a woman with head of an anthropod. He's normal here.
Of course.
A mutant. I always think... I think he's doing the green stuff for plants? Synthesis? That would explain everything about him? The sun is nourishing today, is it not?
Yes.
It looks like it would be nice to live here.
All right.
A little bit like Hamburg? Hamburg. Near the... Well, there's... Everywhere is water in Hamburg. Near... I don't know what it's called. This little island there? Where the musicals are, I think. It looks like that there.
Yes.
Ever thought about making audiobooks? I did a little thing, and I did for my Patenkind, my godchild.
I'm going.
I read some fairy tales from the Brothers Grimm, but I tried to choose the nicer ones, the not so bloodthirsty ones. I don't know if that's possible. No, I tried that, but somewhere along the way I just took the ones that are the most well known. So there is the Little Red Riding Hood, and it's much worse than I remembered. I knew it was bad, but I didn't know it was that bad. And when I talk like the wolf, I think I talk like this. And so he will listen to them when he's 10, at least. That's what his mother said. So yeah, but he's got them now. And I just want him to hear my voice and think,
Are we still
that's
here?
nice.
Let's move on, shall we?
All right, we will. Take your time buying things in this market. Make sure you know what you're getting. I like your tattoo. Where did you have it done? It's these people are so different. So it makes you really can do any voice here. I like that very much. Because everyone comes from somewhere else, looks different. A star falls into the reef, hundreds witness the spectacle. He's a crier. Okay.
Of course.
The size of the human figure that's repeated throughout the camp is highly unusual. Its use as a symbol suggests the elevation of humanity or perhaps a specific person. Yeah, maybe the changing guard? Embedded in the cliff wall is a massive structure that clearly predates the buildings that surround it. What's that? I know what it is, but let's see. This structure is embedded in the ground. It was clearly not made by the same people who built Circus Minor. It looks as though the device extends deeper into the ground below the road. Weathered runes are spread across the device's surface. Leave it alone.
Coming.
Leave the device alone. Ooh. This looks interesting. We will get there later. The energy tapped within the discs inset at the top. The discs inset at the top of the. What? The energy. Off the pillars? What? Off top the pillars? No! Okay. Again. The energy trapped within the discs inset at the top the pillars that line this wall appears to pulse slightly differently as people walk in front of them. I have no idea how. I think at the top of the pillars. Yeah, the off is missing.
Why not?
Something's off about that off. A Philethis. One? Have I? Yeah. When there's no choice, choose the choice you can. Philethis. What's that? A creature floats before you. This is one of the you, Q without E, and any other people in our Numenera time. As none of you other people will know, we play Numenera as a pen and paper game. The Philethis is one of the, I think, the standout creatures in Numenera, because they are very mysterious. Just so you know. A creature floats before you, hidden inside the bulk of its armor cloth robes, unmoving and unmoved by your presence. Exactly who or what the thing is, man or machine, mutant or monster, is impossible to discern. Its glass face reveals nothing but your reflection. Its mechanical voice reveals nothing at all. Recall that this creature is known as a Philethis, but you don't know anything else about them. Exquisite. The Philethis grates, in greeting perhaps, or perhaps lost in its own inscrutable thoughts. Well, thank you, Tybur replies. The Philethis does not acknowledge his quip or even his existence in any way. You are exquisite as well. Kill it. Maybe we can. A sound like the grinding of grit-filled gears is the thing's only response. For a moment that stretches uncomfortably, you feel the cold scrutiny of the Philethis upon you. At last it speaks again. You ask, but the world rebukes. What? Okay. The Philethis' implacable glass gaze bores through your skin and sees more than others do, and it seems to be seeking something from you. Okay. What do you say? I think when we can persuade them and are successful, this will do something good, something we can use. But the other questions are fine as well, I think. Okay, you are. Let's persuade him. And I think, Tybur, aren't you? Yeah, you are the persuasive guy. Maybe 90%. That should be enough. No success! For a moment, the Philethis' face darkens. Then, without inflection, it answers, "The cursed Qui hungers and it feeds, but is denied satiation." The cursed. Help me understand. No. What do you want from me? The Philethis ponders silently until at last it asks, "When you faced Korra, why did you not step first with your left foot?" Balance? The Philethis accepts your answer in silence, then after a long pause replies, "In his vault, the Cloven One reads from his great book to his disciples. He sleeps and awakens and has forgotten his place in the grimoire. He begins anew. The book is a part of him. He has no legs and takes no steps. It is his own self from which he reads. It is his own self that is incomplete. It is his own self that binds him in the vaults of his own mind." He crazy. Yeah, I think. I agree. Elegant steps toward the Philethis. You speak of Dinan. What? Who? You speak of Dinanukt, the one who sits in the waters between the worlds. You've seen him? The Philethis whirs and rumbles, then lowers its head. Perhaps in negation, perhaps in acknowledgement. Elegant growls in frustration. Do you know anything about the sorrow and anything? Silence lingers long, until at last the Philethis speaks. I know it shall be three. I know the first cannot be trusted. I know one changes. I know it shall be three. I know the first cannot be trusted. I know one changes as you change. I know they seek an undoing. Its glass face forms, but the Philethis storms, says no more. What more do you want from me? When the Philethis at last answers, its mechanical voice seems to creak. You did not accept your fall. When you are served the bitter root, will you read? Yes? The Philethis is silent, showing neither satisfaction nor dismay at your response. Okay. You've been following me, man? And memory, cause follows effect. In rain, the colors run. A long rumble suggests that the Philethis has more to say, but nothing emerges. Its words so rushed they almost jumble together. The Philethis asks, when you stood in the palace, when you stood in the place of shifting floors, which way did your shadow fall? Oh, moment. I think it's the place of shifting floors where the pylons in, well, where we woke up in our mind. The shadow was before us, I think. Before me, a long rumble echoes from inside the Philethis' robes, changing at last to words. In the village of Thome it is risen the eremit Elegesia descended deep into the darkness, for he could not bear to see his shadow. More questions? No. In its slow rumble, the Philethis replies, they are not yours. What do your questions mean? What do you want? Yes. What is the answer? Perhaps the thing wants you to answer your own questions. Okay. You want to know if I'm drawing the sorrow to this place. You want to understand why I have done what I have done? You want to confound me? You want to know everything? You don't know what you want. I don't know. I don't know. I think it might be 4 or 2. I don't think it's 1. I don't think the Philethis is afraid. You don't know what you want. Maybe 5. The Philethis accepts your answer silently, giving no clue as to what passes within its impervious ropes, behind its impenetrable mask. At last, when it seems no response will come, a single word, no longer quite so flat, escapes. Yes. Then all is silent once more. Ooh. Yeah, girl! I think that was the white question. Farewell. As you step away, the Philethis swivels to keep its glass face trained upon you. Exquisite.
I'm ready.
Okay. Thanks, Philethis. Dude. Okay, we've talked to the slavers. And have to find someone named Rin. We've talked to these people and we know something's up with that kid. Prata cannot fix our resonance chamber, and Zaofi wants us to find a corpse. Oh, we should maybe talk to these people. Otterer, we've talked to Otto. He was very helpful. Falida wants us to find a book. Genocide just wants us dead. The Philethis doesn't know what he wants, or it. And we haven't talked to them yet, so let's talk to these peoples. Be right back, okie dokie. Intrigued woman. This woman listens intently to the ravings of the man on the nearby dais, hanging on every word. She gives you a hesitant smile. Can you understand it? I know he's speaking great wisdom, if only I could decipher it. Most are only thrill seekers and the morbidly curious, but some of us gather to hear the words of the condemned. They are said to contain the most sublime truths, for they are born from dreams of death. We listen and try to understand the meaning. Huh. What exactly is happening here? An execution. They put the condemned man into a trance, and he speaks of the wondrous things he sees. His words become tendrils of corrupted flesh, which are wrapped around his body until they crush him to death. Then the devourer of wrongs eats him. What? That's just looks like a real hassle to execute someone. Why don't you just shoot him in the head? Why is it so bright in here? Just wait a second. It's too bright. Yeah, it is. This didn't do anything. So, I have a face again. I don't know if there's a step up, but I have a face again. I cannot speak for the others, but I am here because I believe the ravings of a dying man contain the deepest truths, if we can only understand them. Stay true, friend. What are they doing to that poor man? Horrified man. Oh. Maybe that's not his voice. This man stares at the execution in utter horror. He cannot look away. No crime deserves such a punishment. How can this be allowed? A waking nightmare, though they call it an execution. The unfortunate victim is put into a trance that forces him to speak his nightmares. His words spill out of him as a rope of flesh which is wrapped around his body until it crushes him to death. And the indignity doesn't end with him when the poor wretch finally dies, for then the devourer of wrongs eats his flesh. Why is everybody watching this? They are animals. They find pleasure in cruelty. The most barbarous custom of Sargus Cliffs, an execution by nightmare that ends with the condemned being crushed and devoured. And we call ourselves civilized. Our culture has debased them, turned them into mindless monsters who thrive on horror. Spectator. They love the words of a dying man. I must remember every one. I'd say something, but who would listen? Oh no! If you ask me, the victim's speaking nonsense. Delusions of a dying man, nothing more. The unmoved woman. This woman stands at the back of the crowd, arms crossed and eyes cool as she watches the slow execution. Unlike the others, she's also watching the people in the crowd. She shakes her head. Depressing. What is happening here? Another in a long series of pointless executions. She points to the man with the rope of flesh coming out of his mouth. The poor bastard they are killing is put into a trance that makes him talk a lot of nonsense and spew that pink stuff. Eventually it crushes the life out of him and the big guy eats him. Disgusting. In the short version, just another execution. People like to say that the prisoner speaks prophecy as he dies, but I don't believe it. It's all just a show. A sad, ugly show. Why are they watching this? It's what passes for entertainment in this town. People like to watch other people suffer. Takes their mind off their own suffering, I guess. That's not why I'm here, though. I just got sucked in. Yeah. Nothing better to do, I guess. A hideous sight, and yet I cannot look away. This man watches the execution with fevered eyes. He shakes his fist. Traitor! Traitor to the city! As you approach him, he gives you a savage grin. Nothing better than seeing a traitor die, aye? Okay. Justice, the Sargus Cliffs way.
We make traitors and murderers spill their guts, then strangle them with them. We also force them to speak their nightmares to scare other criminals into going straight. And if that doesn't do it, then knowing then that the devourer of wrongs is going to eat your body after you die will. Makes me sick just thinking about it. And in short, they are killing another traitor! Strangling him with his own words. Bad folk die hard in Circus Cliffs. To see justice done. If somebody hurts my city, I want them to see them hurt twice as bad. And getting crushed to death by your own words is as bad as it gets. Because they want to see evil punished! That's why I'm here, at least. Yeah. That's what I think maybe 20% of any relationship is about. Discussing lunch and breakfast and dinner. Talking about food.
Yes. Now.
That's much of what is there. Yeah, that's he's very wrong, but the horrified man doesn't like what they are doing here. But what can he do? We can try to talk them into storming the levees and the Yin, the overseer, and starting a riot. But that's not what Tiber wants to do, so we will try it the other way first. Shh, I'm trying to listen. Hey, listen. This man is large and broad-shouldered, and his steel armor is painted in the silver and indigo colors of Circus Cliffs. He seems to be an ordinary soldier or constable of the city. Too ordinary, perhaps. As you scan his face, you see that his features are plain, forgettable, almost generic. Not only that, his eyes are a little too large, his smile too firmly fixed upon his face. Are you with the city watch? And you don't have to, but maybe the other part wants to discuss stuff. Especially with your other part of the relationship. Are you with the city watch? The soldier peers at you, smile never leaving his face. You must be a stranger to the city, perhaps from one of the autochthonous tribes along the frontier? Allow me to welcome you to Circus Cliffs, visitor. He speaks the final word like a title, almost an honorific. Visitor, I am a levy. You may rely upon me and others like me for protection and assistance, at the discretion of the council and the slave families. We can rat Tiber out? Let's not do that. What's happening here? It is an execution for treason. The condemned man was found guilty of selling state secrets to a foreign power. What? An execution. The man on the dais was found guilty of treason. I'd like to go up on the platform. I am privileged to inform you that you cannot. The levy manages to make it sound like a piece of excellent news. If you wish to discuss the matter further, please direct your inquiry to the official in charge. He points to the indigo-clad, they are all indigo-clad man on the projecting edge of the dais. Our satchel looks like a dog? What satchel? Ah! I think it's more like a pig. Maybe a pig dog. But I will never unsee that again. You call yourselves a levy? What does that mean? Every citizen is required to raise a levy for the protection of the city. In times of war or strife, citizens are sometimes called upon to raise additional levies, but this has not been required since the Dread Destroyer crossed the northern frontier 34 years ago. A Dread Destroyer is a monster. Levies are raised by citizens? Yes. A year of life is taken from a citizen. The lost year is used to create a levy. He pauses ever so briefly, though his smile remains fixed in place. That is why our lifespans are precisely 1 year long. When our spans are up, we degrade into our component matter. If you are curious about the process, I have been instructed to direct you to the Art of Truth, where you may observe the machine that is our parent.
How are you raised again? A year is removed from a citizen's lifespan and used to create one of us. Anyone who wishes to become a citizen of Sargoscliff must make the sacrifice. Our own lifespans are only a single year, then we degrade into our component matter. If you wish to know more, you may inquire at the Order of Truth. How much time do you have left? Oh, hello, Shiroxi! You can even write Esperanto for all I care. I will try to decipher it and answer in English or German, whatever you prefer. And Shiroxi, have you seen that our satchel looks like a dog? Or like a pig? What do you think? Does it look more like a dog or like a pig? Who are the council and the slave families? Dog. Okay. I think it looks like a dog pig. Indeed so. Each slave family sends one representative, usually the head of the family, to sit on the council. We are required to follow their commands. So really serve the council. Not the people of the city. Yes, that is correct. Ha! Yeah. Kudos to you. Shiroxi, I don't remember. You... Oh, sorry. I think you've been here for the... You've watched me playing Torment Tides of Numenera before. But... What's your... What do you know? What have we done so far as far as you can recall? Ooh, which one? That's the second question. Take your time. Nearly nothing. Okay. Then I will give you a summary in a minute. But let's first examine the levy carefully. If you saw the face of this man on the streets of a city, you wouldn't glance at him twice. His features are utterly ordinary and forgettable. Not too ugly, not too handsome. It is indeed almost like he is an average of many thousands of men. Their idiosyncrasies and imperfections merge into a bland middle ground. So like every superhero who's ever been there? The exceptions, of course, are the eyes, which are just a bit too large for the face, and the fixed, ever-present smile. Taken together, the man's features give you a vague sense of unease. But wait, there's more. You do notice something unusual. Pinned to this levy's helmet is a tiny green branch with minuscule leaves. You might have assumed it was a twig that was blown there by the wind, but your sharp eyes catch a bit of twine that fastens it to the levy's helm. Okay. Why did you tie that little branch to your helmet? His eyes flick up, then back to you. It is a reminder of the year that gave me life. It belonged to an old woman. He runs a hand over the twig. Little tree. The old woman's favorite little tree that she raised from a seed. No, would have raised. She wanted to become a citizen, but she had only 1 year left to give. The little tree was never born. At the same moment, both you and the levy seem to notice that his smile is gone, and it instantly returns to his lips. We didn't do much, yeah, we haven't come far. But the summary is here. Wizard and Warriors, by the way. A typical NES title, it sounds like. Not too cute, okay. Yeah. We know about Rin. The summary, Shiroxi. I hope you're listening. We are the last cast-off. We fell from many kilometers above the Earth into a resonance chamber. We have to repair that resonance chamber to make us whole again. We did survive that fall. That's strange. And we know that it is because we are a cast-off is a shell left behind by the Changing God. Changing God is a consciousness, a man who uses different bodies or makes his own bodies, and every time a body is too damaged, he leaves it and goes into another body, but another consciousness goes into the former body, so into the empty shell, into the husk, and we are one such body. We have met Elegern and Tibur so far. He wants to, well, we don't know what he wants. He wants us to go to the cult of the Changing God for more info. And because he thinks we might actually still be the Changing God, he doesn't, and we don't know either, that we are just a last cast-off. Maybe we aren't. I don't know. And Tibur wants us to save this guy who's being executed in a very horrible way. I can tell you how he's executed. He's put into a trance. He's having nightmares and everything. He speaks out those nightmares, what he's seeing. And this is flesh coming out of his mouth that crushes him and tangles him until he's crushed to death. And then the devourer of wrongs eats his corpse. Yeah. So. Where are the women? We in my first playthrough, I played with a woman's party only, and so this playthrough I chose Elegern instead of Cultists. You have to choose one of those two. Cultists was the woman, Elegern is the man, and because I have played with her before, I chose Elegern this time. And, well, there were no other companions so far that we have that we could have gotten with us, so we only have Tibur. The smaller quests are helping him, Tibur, to save his friend Riz. We want to bring a corpse to a sculptor. Oh no, we want to talk to the Dendra Ohur who eat corpses, then know the corpse's memories, and we have to talk to one of the Dendra Ohur who ate a specific corpse, so we can tell Zaofi the sculptor what the the dying man thought about in his last living moments. We also have to return a book to Falinda. We have to find a slave girl named Rin and bring her to Tol Maguur. We don't have to, but that's the quest. And the Aeon priest, Beliazar, that's him, wants us to free this thing and study it. He says study, but we don't know. This is Falinda the bookseller. We also talked to these two who have this kid, but this kid seems to come from another time. Went through a portal into this time, but we don't know anything more. Prata could have been the one that repaired our, that maybe could repair our resonance chamber, but she doesn't, she cannot. She's not able to. This is the sculptor. This is the slave trade leader. Yeah, and this is Torment Tides of Numenera. No, we still have one more spot to spot to give. We could have one more person with us. Yeah, you know, see that landscape looks wrong with the alien in the middle. Yeah, like they don't even care, right? But I think they have seen weirder stuff here in Sargus Cliffs. Sargus Cliffs is the town we're in. This here is the genocide, the last living member of the Tabat, who attacked this city, but this is the last thing they attacked. There were a people of warriors, like the Klingons in Star Trek, and yeah, were not successful in claiming Sargus Cliffs. Okie dokie. This is the cult of the Changing God. Maybe they can tell us more about the Changing God, the one who left us. So, let's talk to Yin the Overseer. You haven't met Genocide. I think you're talking to Shiraxi, right? Because we have met genocide. And an aggressive little one. Yeah, he's got quite the temper. So let's talk to Yin, the overseer.
Course.
Maybe we can talk him into just freeing Riz? Maybe. Alright, Yin. A stout, middle-aged man stands atop the execution platform. He wears the badge of a city official, and a fringe of dreadlocks hangs down to his shoulders from his otherwise bald pate. He gives you a disinterested look as you approach. Please stay back with the others. What's going on here? Let's not read out Tibia. Who are you? He bows slightly. I am Yin, the overseer of capital punishment, charged by the council with organizing public executions and making sure they run smoothly. What's going on here? He casts a brief glance over his shoulder toward Riz. The prisoner, Riz of Flatwater, is being publicly executed as a warning to all who would flout the laws of Sargus Cliffs. What's his crime? Treason. He sold state secrets to the enemies of Sargus Cliffs. Again, selling state secrets. That's treason here in Sargus Cliffs. How does the execution work? Another rustic. It is very simple, sir. Our nanus induce him in him a hallucinogenic state. In this state, he experiences visions. Nightmares, really. He speaks of the things he sees, and his words become flesh as they leave his mouth. We shape the flesh into a human-like form. The death you see behind... Oh, this is made of this. Okay. The death you see beside him. He gestures toward the hideous figure, which looks to be made of rotting viscera. As more strands escape his mouth, his death wraps them around him, and they slowly crush the life out of him. What the fuck is right? Shiraxi, how was your wizards and warriors? Wizard and warriors. Was it good? Or just cute? And you meant that you just played it, right? You didn't stream it? Once the condemned is dead, the devourer of wrongs will eat his corpse. This is justice. And thus is justice upheld in Sargus Cliffs. Okay. If I must, the prisoner is put into a hallucinogenic state. As he speaks of his visions, his words become rotting viscera that are wrapped around his body. They gradually constrict until they kill him, and his corpse is eaten by the devourer of wrongs. Once the condemned is dead, the devourer of wrongs will eat his corpse. Blah, blah, blah. What do his words mean? Some believe there's wisdom to be gained from the rantings of the condemned. I have never gleaned any. Others say that the torment of the condemned means nothing, but it deters would-be criminals from committing offenses of their own. I have never noticed that to be true either. Then why do you do that? Yeah? He's of the Dendra Uhur, who can suck the memories of the dead from their marrow. In those memories is not only the proof that the condemned were guilty, but also the names of their compatriots and other associates. Many an accomplice has been found out in the belly of the devourer, so maybe Tibia has another reason for helping his former friend. The only thing that could free him would be a pardon from the council, and for a luckless nobody like this, that's about as likely as me growing wings. My patience is not endless, friend, but as you wish. I want to talk to Riz? Impossible. No one speaks to the condemned. It is against the rules. I would give it a 3+ on a scale of 1 to 6, like grades in school, or on a what do you compare it to? You know, I normally don't play platformers, but I'm trying a few. I feel you. I'm doing the same. 1 to 6, okay, a 3+. Okay. So not a must play. I tried Ghosts and Goblins. Yeah, I heard only good things about Ghosts and Goblins, but also that it's fucking hard. and difficult. One of the hard... Yeah. That was only annoying, not sure if you know it. Yeah, I've heard of it, and I hate annoying platformers of that time that are just out there to get you, to no fairness whatsoever, just trying to punish you. I thought the same Q without E. Please, he's my father. I must speak to him before he dies. Yeah, let's Tibia handle that. Come on! Yes, success! Critical success. Yes, stat pool spent on effort restored. Woohoo! He shakes his head. Speak to him if you must, but don't expect him to speak to you or hear you. He's past that now. Good day.
Absolutely.
Nicenstein. Death of Riz. The creatures... The strange homunculus pays no attention to you. It seems to be made of the unnatural entrails that spill from Riz's mouth, wound together to form the shape of a man. As you watch, it winds more of those entrails around Riz's torso, almost as if trying to make him a copy of itself. He shudders and turns away. Tibia. They say that's his nightmares coming out of him. I say it's giving me nightmares standing so close. What are you doing? Now, we ask him. The doppelganger does not reply. It does not seem to have heard. Can you hear me? I'm talking to you. No. Does not respond. I don't think trying to stop it is a good idea. Wise choice, friend. Very wise indeed. Riz, are you there? Riz stands, eyes open, but seeing nothing, speaking an unending stream of gibberish. With each word, a rope of slimy flesh inches from his mouth, and taking up this rope is a hideous doppelganger, seemingly made up of the same diseased viscera Riz spews, who paces around him, slowly wrapping him in it like a spider would bind its prey. Only a few rotting loops cinch Riz's chest. It looks like it will take a long time to cover him completely, but his twin is patient, and it continues to circle him without complaint. Can you hear me, Riz? We make love upon shards of shattered marble. We laugh at the kiss of the wind. Ah, the poor lad. He's never said anything that poetic in his life. Are you in there? The flowers no longer sing their song. Something has poisoned their beds. Are you in there? I don't understand what you're trying to say. What does the wound want? How may I heal it? What will slake its hunger? The white, nothing will kill us. Nothing will devour the world. I still don't understand. Farewell. Beware, do not look into the fire. It looks...
I'm ready.
Okay, Devourer of Wrongs. How are you? An enormously fat figure stands near the back of the execution platform. Because of its metal mask and the obscuring layers of devices, filters, and hoses it wears, you can't be sure if it's a man or a woman, or even if it is entirely human. Its thick neck bulges and clenches as if it was chewing something. Who are you? Its voice rumbles like a distant earthquake. And I've got exactly the thing this description needs.
I am the Devourer of Wrongs. The Devourer of Wrongs. I eat the condemned once they are dead. Their meat shows me the extent of their guilt and gives me their memories, revealing motive, method, accomplices, and secrets. The Dendar who have always performed the service for the city.
What do we say to that? This sounds like Stealthy Jack. This sounds I think. You know, Feuerglatze. That this is fucked up. 4, okay. Shroxy, do you have an opinion? What do we say to people who eat other people and learn everything they have done? Dum 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 dum. 4 or 3? Shroxy? I guess you're not there right now. So 3 or 4. I think this sounds like Stealthy Jack, our pirate guy. Oh sorry. Have you? Okay. So this is what he does. This is what we can say. Our character is Stealthy Jack, a former pirate. We are not really, but this is the backstory we imagine. Okay. 3.
Thieves and betrayers have no honor. We are the followers of the great Queen Salavun, a lady of maggots. We honor and archive the minds of the dead by consuming their flesh, while acquiring their wisdom for ourselves. When we consume the flesh of the dead, a fragment of the person's consciousness awakens within us. The more we eat, the more minds coexist within our own.
Now, there's a party I wouldn't care to attend.
We do not eat flesh for sustenance, only for enlightenment and preservation of knowledge. I eat the dead and learn the details of their crimes, through the memories that are bound within in their flesh. The Dendra take those who cannot pay for burial, bringing them to our chapel for last rites and consumption. The city is cleaner for our presence. Some citizens even go willingly to our chapel when they die, so that we may preserve their minds. It rests in the underbelly of Circus Cliffs as it should.
Okay.
On my way.
Weird people here in Circus Cliffs. Fucking weird. Okay, the levy we've talked to. This is the one with the green thing in his helmet, I think. No. He's saying different stuff. This armored levy is almost a mirror image of his comrade who stands on the other side of the execution platform. You sense that something about them is subtly different, but at first glance you can't quite determine what it is. He nods and greets you in a remarkably similar voice. Hello, visitor! An execution for treason ordered by acclamation of the council. The condemned man is guilty of selling state secrets to a foreign power. I have only existed for 14 days, so by the standard calendar I have 299 remaining, unless I am killed in the line of duty. In any other situation, that question would earn you a punch in the mouth. This is how we emerge from the machine, but we aren't truly the same. Citizens can always recognize the levies they raised, and some can tell us apart by looking closely. The face of this levy is nearly identical to his comrade on the other side of the execution platform, If they are different, the variations are extremely subtle and random. A slight difference in the shape of the ears, perhaps, or barely discernible quirk of the lips when he smiles, as he does constantly. Otherwise, the two men could be twins. Actually, they are even less distinguishable than twins. One other detail catches your attention. Almost hidden by the Levy's armor is a tiny fetish or charm, a roughly fashioned representation of an archway or a window, made from bits of metal, wood and glass. What is that little object you've attached to your armor? Did you make that yourselves? For the briefest moment, the Levy smiled and he felt us. That is my year. The year that was taken from a citizen to create me. It reminds me of the front window through which he would have seen, the pretty girl who sells the false birds. Would have been a good year. I know about a pretty girl who sells false birds here. Nothing else. Okay. So we will help them in future. Him, this wrist guy. But for now, Pipi-Pause. Bis gleich. Pipi machen und dann geht's weiter mit Torment Tides of Numenera. Hello, welcome back. Water's life. No coffee today for me. I told Kitty Cat that maybe coffee isn't the best idea on for the Sunday stream, because I cannot read with too much caffeine in my blood. So, we will talk to them later. I think I want to
I'm ready.
get a specific third companion now.
Yes.
But, no, it's... But we can't... I think it's... Maybe it's
I'm
not
ready.
instant, but we can work towards this goal of getting Eritis.
My friend, Orthfong at the Order of Truth, was looking into something for me. I'd like to stop by there. Problem is, most of the priests and I don't get along too well. They might not want to talk to me.
Why won't they talk to you? Like I said, we don't get along. Probably because I called them out on their timidity and their bowing and scraping to the slave families. But hells, maybe they've forgotten. It's freaking hard to make such a deep voice. Alright, I'll ask them. Thanks. And this is not the way I wanted to go.
Yes. Now.
I think this is the way. Quite quick, they are. No. Or is it? Yeah. No. 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 How do I get there? Cliff's Edge. I don't want to go to
Yes.
Cliff's Edge. Edge patch.
Alright, we will find Eritis later. Then we might as well talk to the Changing Guard cultists. Okay. Talk to them, talk to them, talk to them. Didn't talk to them. El-Jinto and Canadu. In front of you is a weary traveler, whose grim visage is mostly obscured by a pointy hat. Upon closer inspection, the lines on his face indicate he has seen much and has many tales to tell. Hello there, friend. Here to see the Nychthemeron, my friend in the cage over there. Or are you just looking to spend a word or two? I have some questions. He's far from mine, friend, El-Jinto says with a raspy chuckle, as you'll likely see if I get too close to his cage. Go on, ask your questions. What is a Nychthemeron anyway? A biomechanical union of stubborn curiosity and frothing malice. Who made them, no one can say, but they cannot be trusted or befriended. Cross their paths or thwart their incomprehensible whims, and they'll kill you if they can. Wait, you called the creature he, is it male? Could be female or genderless or many-gendered. Who can say? I have our friend imprisoned and I feel better about that fact if I don't call him it. How did you capture the creature? I suppose you could blame luck. Little early to call it good or bad, though. I was working on, well, call it a trap. In a valley through some nameless ruin, Canadu was off hunting for dinner and I work in a daze. Always do when I'm concentrating. Near sunset, the trap was still in pieces and I heard Canadu roaring my name. I turned just in time to see our guest bearing down on me. The creature's volley of molten energy cracked off the personal barrier I'd left active while building the trap, but I knew it couldn't hold. Then Canadu leapt off the valley edge onto the Nychthemeron's back, bashing it with his hammer. It shrieked and then night fell and the creature went still. I worked, a touch frantically I admit, to finish the trap. It hadn't been designed for our guest, but as you can see, it worked. Hello in Lahari Place! Lahari? I like that they have non-binary gender systems. Hi there, hi chat, and you're talking. It is, but it shouldn't be too hard for you, Lahari. Welcome. Yeah, they do have non-binary gender systems, at least for this one, the Nychthemeron, but also, yeah, they are. I think it will come up again later. How did you get the creature into the city? A fair question, he says, casting a lazy glance back at the cage. But a longer answer, not as interesting as I'd like. So let's just say that the trap is more collapsible than it appears. How again? With a highly experimental trap of my own design, some luck, and the unexpected falling of night. We're likely to release it and run as if every kind of demon in the world is after us. We're not trappers, see? We're explorers, and we are only in this to save up some coin for a journey across a long patch of ground. Not that our motives make much difference to our guest. He wants to boil our skins once we let him go, and I can't say I blame him. Did you hear that? I think that were the little syringes of the Nychthemeron. How's everyone? Good morning. How have you? We'll let it go free. A long way from civilization, of course. Can't have it burning the kindly people of the Circus Protectorate in their beds. You're welcome to. I'm in no hurry. He seems nice enough. And I don't trust this Beleazar guy. I think we might rat him out, but I don't know yet. And as everything here, it's up to you. Can you repair
my resonance chamber? It must be in desperate shape if you're patrolling the circus talking to strangers. Do you have a piece of the device? Might be that I can offer my opinion. The man's face carries the impenetrable nonchalance of a lifelong gambler, but even so you spot a hint of curiosity, hunger even, deep in his glittering eyes. I know from experience during Monkey Island, I think it was, yeah, Monkey Island 1 and 2, but weirdly enough, I learned that only at Monkey Island 2, that letting chat decide every single dialogue choice isn't the way to go. So I reserve that for the bigger choices. Can you come look at the device? Canadu would never forgive me if I left him alone. He might end up having to talk to someone. When that happens, he's in the mood for days, just like me. I mean like that. I take it that means you don't have it on you? I have the shard of crystal. He accepts the crystal shard with great care, turning it over and over in his cracked hands. In the silence you catch a hint of wood smoke, and notice that his eyes have turned slate grey. A living crystal. Seeking a greater whole, still warm, maybe alive, maybe thinking. He hands the shard back to you with a touch of regret. Interesting piece of tech, but no one I know much about. And not one I know much about. Sorry, friend. Try asking around some more. I want to see the creature up close. Your curiosity does you credit, friend. It will cost you only 25 sheens. But on the other hand, the Baldur's Gate, they have an extension for that, don't they? An extra Twitch extension so people can decide pretty much everything. And I'm looking very much forward to play that game and doing it this way. But you are right, without an active chat, and I don't know if this is, I can handle that for the first playthrough, as you might have seen that I can be quite obsessive about making choices in video games. But maybe I will try. But that's future Feuerglatz's problem. So how about tensions? Let's take Tybee. I mean, it's only shins. Just try 60%. Come on! Yes! Success! El-Jinto surveys you with an unreadable gambler stare, stroking his chin with a cracked thumb. Always nice to meet a fellow barterer. Visit our guest whenever you're ready.
Making a note.
Worth every shin, I promise. Visit our guest whenever you're ready. Again, okay. If there was an extension for every game there is, that would be great. But I thought the extension was only specific for Baldur's Gate. No way you are? No way you are? No way I'm what? Shoot without E? Looking at the creature, you mean? We will do that. I don't know. This Billy Azar dude, I don't know. Ah, okay. Yeah. Ha. Irony. I get it. Okay, what do you think, Chad? Should we rat him out? He wants to put a device on this cage in order to teleport the Nychthemeron to the Reef of Fallen Worlds and study it. I think he wants to kill it in the process. Or do we tell these nice little fellows, El-Jinto and Canadu, that he is trying what I just described? Or, he's an Aeon priest, do we first go to the Order of Truth? where the Aeon priests are. They are the Order of Truth. And tell them what Beliazar is doing? What are you saying? Canadu, my friend! Yeah. Not sure. Dang. This large, bald, broad-shouldered man turns to face you. You freeze. It's not his dark cloak or his sledgehammer, it's that beneath his mustache and goatee, he is so ugly that he'd scare his own mother in a dark alley. He gives you an abrupt nod, and you get the distinct impression that here stands a man who enjoys the boredom of standing guard and the company of his own thoughts. He lays his gaze over the city skyline and falls into a patient silence. El-Jinto says that I can visit the Nychthemeron? Good. Canadu says, furrowing his patchy eyebrows, it's clear that he doesn't understand why you're still talking to him. What is that thing in the cage? A Nychthemeron. El-Jinto will tell you all about it, if that's what you want. How did you capture it? Long story. Apparently that wasn't an introduction, but an excuse. He sees you staring and adds, ask El-Jinto, he's the talker. I watch the beast. How did you capture it again? Ask El-Jinto, I said. He's the talker, not me. How does that cage hold the creature prisoner? Don't know. El-Jinto built it. Where do you come from? He exhales softly through his nose, giving you the distinct impression that you are making him work harder than he'd like. Laurik, a city in the beyond, packed with blood-mad priests, giant razor cats, and dread. Lots of dread. His weighted gaze seeks the horizon. I don't miss it, but El-Jinto does. If you want stories, he's the one to ask. Chad is indifferent. Okay. I like the game graphic, and I like that it isn't hardcore sci-fi. I like both. I like hardcore sci-fi and I like fantasy, science fantasy. But I think I even prefer science fantasy because it's not something you have seen so much of in movies and series, and it's just a little different. Yeah, and I think in my opinion, Numenera is, Tatooine from Star Wars. This is what I would say Numenera is to me. People trying their best with somehow understanding machines and stuff from past civilizations and doing just their best to survive. And it's always everywhere a little dirty. There are merchants trying to screw you, and this is Numenera for me. And I mean, this isn't it. This isn't Tatooine. But I also like this side of Numenera, the bright side, the colorful side. But in my head, the Ninth World is always a little, or much dirtier and less colorful. What would you describe as hardcore? Oh, bye-bye, Q without E. There's still 1 hour to go, but okay. It's your decision. Bye-bye. Have a nice day. An air prince wants me to again. It seems like El-Jinto does all the work in your partnership. He should. Canadu says, scowling at you, revealing for a moment the roiling temper beneath the man's determined calm. He gets the larger share. I'm just the muscle, he's the... reading. What kind of sci-fi do you read, Lehari? I think I've never really read a science fiction book, now that I think about it. It's more always science fantasy, if it's science anything at all. For example, the Anathem by Neil Stevenson. The Numenera books themselves, there are some. Novellas, they call them. No hardcore science fiction. I don't suppose Harry Potter does count as hardcore science fiction? No, it doesn't. And the Dark Tower isn't really science fiction either. No. Tolkien, no science fiction. No. I've read 1984, but that's not really the kind of science fiction Shiraxi is talking about. I did read the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I did read that. Battletech novels. Never heard about Battletech. Oh, did I? I don't think I did. To Canadu. Should we don't... Maybe we should just wait for him to finish? He's the handyman. He's handy at building stuff, wrangling extra sheens from the gawkers, charming free food. He works hard. I pay him an extra share so I don't have to. So I have time to think. You think? Can you repair a device? I don't think so. He's already shaking his head before you finish. We don't know anyone like that. We aren't from around here. And I guess he can't answer our questions about the city. Ask somebody who lives here. We're not experts on any city and we don't want to be. Laurik? A city in the beyond called Laurik. Can't recommend it if you like your skin rarities. Okay. Why? In what way? A Warhammer novel. I mean, Warhammer. The origin of Warhammer is the tabletop game, isn't it? So it's not that the tabletop game is based on novels, but the novels are based on the tabletop game, right? Do you mean that? Just reading a novel about a game? That could be strange, I think. Canadu. Okay. I would have imagined that you've read an English novel way sooner. Why didn't you? What got in your way? Okay, let's talk to him again. I think I will wait until we are at the Aeon Priests and talk to them about Beleazar. Yes, what is it now? Farewell. Okay. So, the Changing Guard Cultists. Look! Look! That is one of the Death Cheater's vessels! Can it be? What fortune! What joy! Casmeen will want to see you, Vessel, and Mimeon too. They are quite a happy bunch. I've studied your sire's life since I was a youth. All my wisdom I owe to them. We have knowledge of all your brethren cast off, that is, all but a few. You should speak to Casmeen and Mimeon, Vessel. They are first among your sire's faithful. Will you let me touch you, honored Vessel? Touch me where? You've come to the right place of all your sire's cults. Ours is the first and greatest. I was an outcast, hideous and shunned, before I found your sire's cult. I give all my fortune to the faith, every shin of my family's wealth. Many of your sire's lives have touched the city, shaped it really into what we know today. Okay, so it's
Fine.
Scientology. Ancient device, leave it alone. When I read a novel in my native language, the images in my head based on what I read are 4K. I like where this is going. Reading an English one without turning to the dictionary on every other sentence, the images were HD ready. Okay.
I'm ready.
So I guess what's going on and can follow. I get what's going on, but the story in my head is not as detailed in comparison. Novels often include vocabulary. Aha. Oakley dokley. This is. I think this is the nerdiest way to describe what you have just described that I've ever heard, and I like it. But it's also, I know exactly what you mean now. No, I just wondered if you play space for pause, like in the Infinity games. Let's look at this. This is, I think, the clock some people were talking about. It's the clock. I think it's just a matter of, and I think you will agree, of the more often you do it, the more you will get used to it. And I think step by step you will get from 720p to 1080 and then someday to 4K. So you've read practice makes perfect. That's what I meant. Turn back to novels in German, but I will probably also read English stuff. I'm interested in that. Do you read novels that are written originally in English and read them in German now, or do you specifically choose German novels so that you are not losing anything in the translation? As you approach the clock, there's a pause in the argument that the duo next to it are having. The petite woman turns towards you. Her hair is unusual, a light, almost yellow color, and her bright eyes dominate her pretty face. Excuse me, but my colleague and I were having a discussion, and her eyes fall upon your tattoo and her breath catches audibly in her throat. Her partner is an unnaturally tall man, gaunt and sour-faced, his voice sonorous, with fingers that twitch and weave through strange contortions. Occasional lights spark in the air as he does. Ooh. Sonorous means, I think, sleepy-like, monotone, and deep, with fingers that twitch and weave through the strange. He turns to you and opens his mouth to speak, registers your tattoo and closes it again. His throat bobs for a moment and he says, "It is an honor." He nods his head to the two of them. Elegant. "I've brought someone you should meet. These are Casmeen and Mimeon. They are the leaders of the local branch of your church." "You have our thanks for the introduction, Elegant, our deepest thanks." "Oh, this is Mimeon." "What?" "Okay, and she's Casmeen?" Okay. He eyes the Aeon priest for a moment as if about to say more, but thinks better of it. He collects himself. "If I might impose on your time for a moment, will you tell me about your tattoo? How did you shape it? Do you know why it differs from the others?" You mean while streaming? Or why does it accompany you? Or at your job? And just to let me repeat myself, you can decide everything there is to decide. I'm just not asking you if these are just one-off decisions and don't really mean anything, because I don't think they do. Shape it. Not yours, revered one, Barest whisper. You are a cast-off of the changing god, light of brilliance. His touch is on your head, that too marks you as his child. You are not alone. Other cast-offs live, and we treasure each of you. You are welcome here, revered one. We stand ready to serve as we can. Have you any questions for us? Streaming, gaming, movies, series? Oh. Consume that from Yeah, me too. Me too. But only when it's not originally in German. But I think you do the same. You won't watch a German movie in English if it's produced in German. No, you won't do that. Who does? Well, anyone who doesn't speak. I digress. Who are you? I am Mimeon. I am one of the leaders of the cult of the Changing God in Circus Cliffs. My primary duty is as chief archivist. Archivist? My colleague is Casmeen. She is responsible for the day-to-day administration of our encampment. Who you are again? She bobs her head, her eyes never leaving your face. I am Casmeen, and this is Mimeon. Together we lead the cult of the Changing God. A puzzled tone fills her voice, as if she is trying to place your face. What can you tell me about the city? The city your sire built and defended? The cradle of civilization? The center of the empire of knowledge? It is among the great works of humanity in the Ninth World, built on the foundations laid by unknown creators. It has risen to become one of the preeminent cities on Garavia Sound. It is somewhat diminished in these latter days, to be sure. Perhaps if the Changing God were to return to lead us to glory? Anything more? Many thousands of souls. Who's who? He's Mimeon, she's Casmeen. Okay. Many thousands of souls call Circus Cliffs their home. They came here for safety, for succor, and the Changing God protected them. Now you can visit the spires of Government Square, where he once sat, or the places where his machines once shifted the city out of time. Your sire even faced the bloom when he was here. Ooh, but you should avoid it at all costs. There's much else to do in the city if you want to walk in your sire's footsteps. Anything more? No. Do you know anything about the sorrow? And on others? Maybe. A monster of deepest nightmare. I have heard that it wants you dead. Every one of the Holy One's creations, all dead. I don't know why, but it hates you. He nods somberly, raising a finger to his forehead. Only that it is remorseless, pitiless, and it wants nothing more than the destruction of you and all those who, like you, were created by your sire. Tattoo! You are a cast-off of the Changing God, our inspiration, the man who has cheated death for centuries so that he might accumulate wisdom, who wears bodies like clothes and abandons them when he has exhausted his studies in them. Yet when he leaves, a spark of consciousness remains. Your consciousness, revered one. Anything more? You mean the most accomplished inventor of our time? The hero of Circus Cliffs? The man who dodged death itself? The Time Weaver? The man who destroyed the Tabat? Oh, we have so much to say. But perhaps we should wait for another time. An inspiration to inventors and seekers after knowledge. Rather than meekly accepting his impending death and the immeasurable loss to posterity his passing would have occasioned, he found a way to continue his work. He is a model for those who value wisdom and insight. Do you know anything about a device called a resonance chamber? Rumor and conjecture, nothing more. Idle speculation from those who wish to pretend to knowledge of your sire's motivations passed along as fact. Have you seen it? Do you know where it is? What it does? I don't think we should tell them where it is. What do you think? They seem all just a little too culty. I don't know if there's a cult who's not too culty, but I don't want them fiddling around with my resonance chamber. Maybe it's 2 or 3. I don't think we should choose one. Two? Are you okay with 2? Water is life. Then I'll choose 2. He smiles slightly and spreads his hand in apology. Not as much as I should like, but we have ways to find answers. His eyes trawl your face, and it seems as if he's on the verge of understanding something. It is said by those loyal to your sire that the chamber is the solution to the sorrow, the creature that haunts you all. We don't know how, though. We take this as an article of faith. The resonance chamber will save you. He looks sharply at you now, all distraction gone. I do not recognize you. You do not match any descriptions we have recorded. She snaps her fingers as if she is finally figuring out a mystery. Wait. Let me remember your face. Oh my, you're new! Are you the changing god? Can it be? Oh, viel Spaß beim Spazieren. Bis Mittwoch bei Gothic 2, die Nacht des Raben. Und adios, Shiraxi. Viel Erfolg, viel Spaß. Habt einen schönen Tag. Bye-bye. She reaches out to touch your sleeve and pulls your hand back quickly. Okay, this is... I try to remember what I chose in my first playthrough. I think I told them I am the changing god. So now I'll tell them I'm not, just to see what's different. Any other opinions? I'd love a cookie right now. I don't have cookies. I'm not the changing god, I'll tell them. We don't know, Lahari, but it's improbable that we are. We don't remember being the changing god. Okay. I'm not the changing god. His eyes flicker toward you and his mouth draws down for a moment, but he says nothing. Eilegon. He is traveling with us because he thinks we might be the changing god and we are lying to him. He nods, satisfied. As I thought, you are a cast of one of his children. He touches you with his long-fingered hand as if in consolation. There's no shame in such a thing. Many cast-offs have come to our attention, and some of them have sought to deceive us so that they might seem more important. If you are as new as we suspect, it is better for us, to know the truth of your existence than to bluster and lie. Crestfallen, she touches his shoulder. Are you sure you're not? No, why would you lie about that? With a noticeable effort, she wrenches herself into optimism and she chirps. But you knew, aren't you? You knew. Have you decided what you do? What you'll be? Your sire's other children have done amazing things. Amazing. And no doubt you will as well. He lays a hand on her shoulder and his voice is low. Cautionary. Cass. She looks away from you for a moment, swallowing sudden tears, and he says, "We have a request for you." He gestures toward the clock behind him. Dark figures circumambulate these clock faces. I theorize that your sire's creation of the time shields that protected the city established a connection with his future selves. Given this, we believe those figures may be cast-offs, or ghosts of cast-offs perhaps, the living shells of the bodies your creator has worn previously. The clock is unmoored in time. You see, we do not have a knowledge sufficient to investigate, but you might. You have a connection with he who created the clock. You should be able to align it with the present time and uncover who these figures are. If you cannot, at least you will increase our store of knowledge. She smiles bravely, looking between Mimeon and you, and says, "And then we can answer the questions you must have, right, Mim?" Do you have how? We have tried. I have appealed to the order of truth. I have spoken with eminent seekers of knowledge. We have sent for wisdom from as far as the steadfast. A great achievement, you must agree. None have given us an answer. We believe your sire created the device, or had a hand in it. Perhaps his angry-eyed compatriot steps in. Perhaps you can find an answer where others have failed, and then we can help you. You will have our boundless gratitude, revered one.
Making a note.
And for now, best of luck. Mimeon, I'm not finished with you. We struck a bargain, revered one. We would be poor in spirit indeed if we did not honor our promises. Yet I see the clock remains unfixed, and you bring us no new knowledge of its workings. Casmeen, what do you say? You like me? Can we just talk? Okay. Okay. Yep, see you soon. Do we interact with it now?
Yes. Now.
Okay. If he answers my questions this definite, then we will do it. This complex machine towers over you. Its purpose is unclear, but the three circular faces set into the ground remind you of clocks. Ah, these three. Something is wrong with the machine, however. It's partially transparent, shimmering in the air when you look directly at it. The clock faces seem to show several different times at once. Humanoid silhouettes ripple beneath the central clock face. One places his hand against the face as though it were a glass wall. They seem to be watching you. Examine the machine. The towering mechanism wavers in the air. Similar to Cultists, it appears to be in several states at once. Though all of the machine's states are in the exact same location, you can't touch it either. Your hand passes right through the structure. As you pull your hand away, a memory strikes you as powerfully as if someone took a club to your chest. You're working at the clock. It is no longer transparent, but perfectly solid. There's a noise behind you, so they've come, the three traitors. They think to surprise you, but through the powers of the clock you have foreseen this moment. There's the faintest sound of metal sliding against leather. You slap a hand on the central clock face, activating the clock's arcane powers. You're not sure what it will do to them, but it's better than what they'll do to you. There's a flash. Arcs of energy stretch out from the clock, over your shoulders to your would-be attackers. You don't see what happens to them, but they quickly disappear along with their screams. Ooh. As the last shreds of the memory fade, a swirl of energy passes through your body. Cold barbs prick every muscle. Suddenly, tidal forces arc from the clock to three ancient devices in the Cultists encampment. The clock recognized something inside you, or maybe vice versa. Either way, you have inadvertently activated the nearby devices.
I'll remember that.
He should. Swing. Shoo. Swing. Schwang. Okay.
Ready.
The Cultists machine shimmers in the air when you look directly at it. The clock faces seem to show several times. Anything new? No. It just wobbles in the air, seeming to be in several states at once. It makes you a little sick to look at it. I don't think we should reach for the silhouetted figures right now. It seems dangerous?
Fine.
Come on. Yeah, we let's reach for him. Story. Your hand passes straight through the clock face. The figures and the entire structure. It's as if the entire machine wasn't even there. Okay. Welcome back.
Go.
Okay, there are these three. We have activated something inside the clock, Lahari, so now and the clock activated 3 different devices. Let's see what it does. As you approach this device, Circus Minor, this is the part of the city where we are, is thrown into chaos. Buildings are on fire, people are screaming and running for their lives, while armored soldiers hunt them. None of them seem to pay any attention to you, though. It's some kind of vision, not reality. You glance down at the device. A series of images flit across its surface. They don't appear related to the changes around you. You see faces of other people and places, all of them familiar. Okay, the images on the surface. As soon as you focus on them, you feel a warmth on your head where your tattoo is. The images respond to your thoughts, slowing and changing at your whim. It's something about your body that allows you to do this, which perhaps means that only you can even see the images. You immediately recognize the pictures as pieces of memory, specifically the 3 memories you saw back in the fathoms of your mind. It's something I wanted to do since I finished Final Fantasy VI. Because, you know, I like to read out the texts, even though it's 3 hours of reading is, it really jumbles your brains. But still, I like it, and especially Torment. It's just a game I wanted to play a second time anyway, because it's so full of different choices you can make that it's just not for you, it's also for me. A little tormented me time. The 3 memories and the fathoms of our mind. This was, dust on my monitor. It's, maybe you remember where we woke up at the beginning of the game, in our mind, where we had to make choices, in 3 different memories we had. Yeah, maybe you do. These are the ones. No, it's my second. Why not? The memory is recent. 2 men, both with tattoos like your own, are in an underwater city searching for something. The denizens of the city chase them from the artifact they seek and ultimately surround and capture them. As you review the memory, you get a strange feeling in your mind that you can only describe as a query. The device wants something from you. Suddenly you remember. The memories in the device are possibilities, but you can lock one of the memories here so it is the only one that displays. You don't remember what purpose that served, though. The memory in the lush valley. Somehow you know the memory is from a long time ago. Centuries ago, probably. A man and a woman, both with tattoos like your own, are surveying a lush, secluded valley, seeking an ideal location for a hidden sanctuary. And it's always nice when you know what's coming in a game, and the second time you play it, and now can connect all the foreshadowing dots you couldn't connect before when you first played it. Because I know what this is about. Look at the memory of the city under siege. Somehow you know this memory is ancient and might have occurred 1,000 years ago. A man and a young girl raced through the streets of Sargus Cliffs. All around them, the city is attacked by a terrible people, the Tabat, you recall. The man takes them to an ancient machine somewhere in the city. Then he and the girl disappear. And the changes around us? Circus Minor is under attack. Squads of armored soldiers roam the streets, hunting and killing anyone they find. Mobs of people flee in terror, with only a few hapless souls trying and failing to fight them off. The soldiers are completely encased in jagged metal armor. You can't even tell if they are human. Looking beyond the carnage, the square in this vision looks wildly different. Many of the buildings that are on fire don't exist at all when you step away from the device, having been replaced by other structures. I guess this is the memory of the besieged city? The images of the man and the girl are the only ones that play across the surface of this device. Ah, they run past the enemy soldiers and then disappear at the machine in an endless... What? Okay, look closely around us. It's still the same. But I think this was the right choice, connecting the vision embedded in the device with one of the three that we can choose from. Okay. I mean, this can't be bad. This pink swirl.
Yes.
Device
Now.
number 3. A strange feeling comes over you as you approach this device, as if someone were sneaking up on you in the corner of your eye. When you look, there's no one there. It feels like something is different though, but you can't put your finger on what. A series of images flit across the surface of the device itself. They don't appear related to the changes around you. Oh, you see faces of other people and places, all of them familiar. What are the changes around me? The changes are difficult to notice at first, but after a moment you figure it out. Circus Minor is the same, but the crowd is different. Most of the people in the stalls and buildings are not the same as those you've seen around the square. Those few you do recognize are younger by several years. I guess it's the recent memory then? Images of the two men in the underwater city are now the only images that play on the surface of this device. They search for something, are chased, and then are captured, over and over again, in an endless loop. As soon as the image is locked in place, a ribbon of energy stretches into the air, connecting the control device to the clock. This looks quite good. And the third device.
Yes.
As you approach this device, Circus Minor changes around you. People are dressed differently and speak differently. Whole new structures appear, including an enormous building rising from the edge of the square. You look down at the device. A series of images flit across its surface. They don't appear related, blah 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 blah. Circus Minor looks almost completely different. All the people are dressed strangely, and though they speak the truth, it's not they speak in an honest way, but the truth is the common tongue in D&D. It's just the lingua franca. They use many terms and phrases that you don't understand. The square has changed as well. All of the tents are gone. The buildings are more colorful and less weathered. Even more colorful. Okay. One building in particular raises from the edge of the square, a tower of purple rock some 50 stories high. A mural is painted on the side, though you can't see the details from here. Then I guess it's the centuries-old memory? The images of the man and woman in the valley are now the only images that play across the surface of this device. They survey the valley in an endless loop. As soon as you lock this third image, a final surge of energy arcs through the air from the device to the clock itself. The clock shines for a moment, then becomes solid, fixed into a single state. At the same time, the device in front of you goes dark. The images disappear, as does the strange view of the city's past. I like that we only gain 3 XP or 2 XP, I guess maybe sometimes even 1 XP only, or 4, and not like as in other games, it's always 500 for killing one minor creature. Because, I mean, yeah, high numbers look cool, but it's not a difference in gameplay. Yeah. Which one? I know it's not Gothic.
Making a note.
Ah. Let me try something. Because I know you could have fucked that up. And I wanted to do that. Vampire. Oh, okay. Never played it. It's on my list. I don't know, you did. Have you finished it? I thought you said that you played it on your stream, but you were expecting something different, more Souls-like, but it's more just story-based, and you wanted to put it you wanted to switch it on your timetable or something? Okay, you have.
Yes.
Okay, so let's put the ancient memory in here.
Yes.
And here too. As you lock the third image, the air around the device trembles. The other devices in the square begin to glow, as though they are about to do something. Just as suddenly, the glow on all 3 devices fades. The image you had locked to this device flickers, and then the 3 memories flit across its surface once more. The device seems to have reset itself. Oh. Okay. So it's just wrong what we did. Smash it! Okay. Failure. I thought we could... but maybe... I guess I mistook what we could do here with what we could do with the clock itself. Then it was dark. The images are gone, and so are the weird echoes of Circus Minor's past. You've definitely broken it. Around the Cultists encampment, the other 2 devices darken as well, but the clock becomes solid. Oh, it no longer appears to be in multiple time periods at once. As the clock returns to solidity, a strange thing happens to the sky. No, this is what I thought it would be. The sun races to the horizon and disappears, and Circus Minor is enveloped in darkness. Oddly, buildings in the distance, beyond the edges of the district, still appear sunlit.
Making a note.
It's night now. I've never seen it at night.
All right.
Circus Minor. Is there anything... I know... I've never played it this way, but I know it's... I know the Nychthemeron is much more relaxed at night. Yeah, I am. And just as soon as I found out that it was made by the same people who made Life is Strange in other games, but mostly just Life is Strange, I knew this is the game for me.
Of course.
I know
Yes.
that I just made the wrong choices here, and now it's night. And I have read that this doesn't... It's really not worth... It's really not worth it because it closes off the possibility in another quest, but opens up the one for another, for a different one. And it's this guy. This Nychthemeron, as we have heard, is much more relaxed at night. So we can just talk to them. Let's see what they think about it being night in here. Oh. The man guarding the creature's cage hasn't moved since you left. Still, you notice a slight tightness in his expression, possibly caused by the Nychthemeron's constant stream of questions. Canadu sees you looking. He likes to talk at night. Doesn't mean I have to answer. Why not? It doesn't help. First night after we caught it, it had all manner of questions for us. We answered, thinking it made the trip easier. It didn't. Mist still tried to rip us apart when they came. What do you say, El-Jinto? He cocks his head back as you approach, surveying the dark sky. Surveying? Night doesn't seem to be moving on. Might be we should take advantage of that. Pack up our guest while he's still playable.
Go.
To me, it does make sense, and it's great that they did that. That they did that. Yeah, the TH. The cage in which the creature floats is a simple frame that contains a shimmering, nearly transparent cylinder of energy. It emits a low hum, barely audible, that sets your teeth on edge. The container is a delicate filigree of ornate materials with no apparent controls, but surely they must be hidden somewhere in the traceries and protrusions of the wirework. You approach the cage cautiously. The monster within looks like a fungal blob mated with a muscular ichthyoid. I think it's octopus stuff? Ichthyoid? Somehow, something here screams ink in my understanding. And that's why I think it's octopus-like. Its multiple tentacles terminate in syringes, needles, and injectors. This mass sits atop and is integrated with a floating orb of some type. It seems to be both mechanical and biological, with one system flowing smoothly into the next, a creation from some mad nightmare. The hovering creature turns to you, and some of the knobby protuberances swivel and dilate like eyes. A mechanical flat voice emanates from the orb at the creature's base as it assesses you. Mechanical flat voice. Human appearance, artificial biological construct, molecular structure primarily carbon. Inquiry: do humans desire freedom? Yes, they do. Accepted. Data is needed. Inquiry. Why do humans pursue immortality? And it all boils down to this. Even the answers before that, I think. Just so you know, I plan to reverse that. I want to load the save game where we repaired the clock. But I always wanted to see what we can do with this guy now that it's night. I think maybe 3. Accepted. Somehow its voice drops. A fine-tuned beam that strikes your ears alone.
I'll remember that.
Data collected. Assembled. Inquiry. Will the human help this one escape? Human designate Beleazar seeks to terminate this one. Intends to transport via particle degradation and reconstruction, disassembled then for parts. Termination is outside parameters. Human, provide freedom. Retrieve transport device from human designate Beleazar. Return here for its reprogramming. I have it.
Making a note.
Bring device closer. Regard malleable properties. Contort angled protrusions to right angle. Bend antennas to touch device. It walks you through more instructions, its voice remaining patient, flat, and unhurried. Oh, so not like I did it. When at last you have finished, it speaks again. Directive, regard containment system. A fixed device to control area. You turn your attention to the creature's cage. The cage appears to be made of a mixture of synth, spun strong glass, and a lightweight metal. Synth is the Numenera term for plastics, any kind. Strong glass, it looks like glass and it's very strong. And lightweight metal, intricately embroidered to create mind-warping patterns, evocative and strange. Energy shifts and flickers among the crevices, somehow being shaped by the form of the materials. Your closer examination reveals a small panel worked cunningly into the frame of the cage. Some of the filigrees are worn and smooth, as if slowly eroded by friction. Perhaps these are the controls. Okay. The cage's hum dips lower for a moment, throbbing almost at the limit of your hearing. Your bones and teeth ache briefly, and everyone within 3 meters of the cage claps their hands to their ears. Are you trying to kill us all? Leave the cage alone! Do you even know what will happen if that thing gets free? Do you remember? What? Why should we ask that? I think we bugged it out now. Oh yeah, okay. Okay, let's talk to it again.
Yes.
Okay, now it's relaxed again. Okay. Yes, I am. Can't you answer? Request denied. Data is needed. Inquiry. Does human have disassembly transport? Yeah, okay. Yeah, you get it. Directive, human, regard the enclosure. The delicate construction of the cage belies its strength. If you're not careful, you might touch the exposed energy that circulates through its frame. A small disguised panel may house its controls. Machinery isn't... Yeah, elegant. What? You or a companion now have Edge in one of your stat pools, granting you a discount on using points from that stat pool. Each level of Edge grants 1 free level of effort, boosting your minimum chances of success. Nice! When using an ability, Edge reduces the activation cost first, and any leftover points are used for effort. I understand. So... let's him do it, but I want 100% success rate, please.
Making a note.
You place Beliazar's modified trinket on the cage near the worn panel. Legs extrude from it, molding themselves to the shape and texture of the cage's materials, and lights flicker up and down its length. You back away from the cage slowly as the lights gain speed and duration. The light show on the cage ends as suddenly as it started, but the Nychthemeron inside begins to glow, its skin colors sliding across the spectrum, and it dissolves from the outside in unraveling. An audible accompanies its disappearance as air rushes in to fill the place where it existed, and Canadu's head snaps around at the noise. He rushes over, followed closely by his partner. What happened here? What did you do? His hand snaps out faster than he'd believe possible and snatches your collar. Where did the Nychthemeron go? Let's not be hasty, Canadu. I'm sure there's a reasonable explanation for this. He shoots you a look, measured and full of meaning. I would hope that our friend here can provide it. I released it? His weathered face cracks open in surprise. You... What? You released him? Where? How did you even get past the cage's controls? Do you realize what you've done? How dangerous that creature is? He turns a despairing gaze toward his partner, whose expression is grim and unforgiving. If this cage can't hold a Nychthemeron, it can hold a god. Oh, we'll have to make it better. Do they want to catch the changing god? Decades of work, centuries, for nothing. He pokes his finger at you. You're a fool, a worthless scraping of filth best left to dry out in the sun. And if it weren't for the levies here, you'd be scraping your brains from the grass. Someday, your luck will fail and you'll find yourselves defenseless against your own stupidity. I hope I'm there to see it, but now, will you? Well, you've ruined our profits here and countless lives back home. Time for us to go. Ah, no. The Lauric god, that's what he's talking about. The glaive is too angry to speak, but his partner nods at you and places a hand on... Okay. It's not so bad as all that, Canadu. At least we've learned something. Exposed to weakness, yes. Even if it's not quite the way we wanted to find out, perhaps we owe something of gratitude. But maybe that gratitude comes with time. Right now, I'm furious. The two of them begin packing their gear, wordlessly and efficiently. El-Jinto weighs the coin purse and shakes his head when Canadu looks at him. As the two pass you, Canadu looks like he's about to add something. He thinks better of it, laughs to himself, and spits at your feet as they pass by. Okay.
On it.
So now let's go into the Reef of Fallen Worlds, where the Nychthemeron should be.
Yes.
No, it's not here.
Fine.
I thought it would be. On the other hand, the game told us that we have a new reflection in our mind, in our calm, but you only get there by dying. No, it's not here either.
Yeah?
Can he attack us? No, he can just heal us.
Here. Now.
It looks like we have to die to talk to the Nychthemeron in our mind.
Yes.
Maybe? If that's the case, I think we'll just load the other save game I wanted to continue with. But I like how it looks at night.
Sure.
I always like how games look at night, with the fiery glow coming out of the tents and homes. What's... Ah, he's still
Let's
trying
go.
to photosynthesize, even without a sun. Ah, of course, now he's sleeping.
Of course.
Okay. What do they say after we broke the clock? Okay. Okay. The Philethis, anything new at the night? At night? In the night? Okay. I think this might be... I try to remember... You would think that it's not hard to die in a game, but in this game, it's one of the first... It's one of the puzzles you have to solve, so you can return to inside your head. Yeah, let's talk to him. Maybe he knows where the Nychthemeron is.
Making a note.
Yeah, okay. Yes, you can. And I think in my first stream session, I did die, and I can tell you... no, I mean really die. Not... So that you're just pulverized and you don't ever return again. And you can do that here. I will show you, gladly, because I think this might be the end of our stream today, because we will continue with the other save game anyway, and it's almost 1 o'clock. But first, let's die. Yeah. Touch it. Bam. Now we dead. We very dead. Okay. Damn. I'm still rather curious what the Nychthemeron would say to us. But I think this is something I will try to find in a YouTube video and link to in the YouTube video description when I upload this one.
I'm going.
And I'm not trying to do this myself, because let's not waste time.
All right.
Okay, so let's talk to them. You see what I did? Repaired. Casmeen is he. Yeah, she. You fixed the clock. I knew you could do it. I knew it. She shoots a triumphant smile at Mimeon. You must tell us what you saw. Where are those figures? Were they Castos? What did they say? Were you able to retrieve them? Patience, Cass. You must first congratulate our guest. Masterfully done, revered one. A performance worthy of your sire. You are most welcome here. Unfortunately, your task is not entirely complete. We told you our price. That decision stands. Return when you have the knowledge you promised. Okay.
Yes.
The machine is solid now. Each of the 3 clock faces show a single time, though none of them point to any time measurement that you understand. You lean closer to the central clock face. 3 shadowy figures still lurk within, their features almost discernible now. Suddenly, the figures surge out of the clock toward you. Intense pressure strikes your head like a steel spike, then everything goes
I'll
black.
remember that.
With only 1 intellect point left, I think this is... We will do this next time. Yeah. So, exit to main menu. Just for the music. That's one bright face right there. Thank you for watching. Lahari, thank you for being here. And any other people that were here, have been here, and will always be here, and are there right now. We will see you, or I will see you, or I will read what you write, because I can't see you. Next Sunday, 10 o'clock, again, at Torment of Numenera, or Wednesdays and Thursdays, starting at 7 p.m., Gothic 2, Die Nacht des Raben. Anyone who doesn't understand German wouldn't be very happy there, but still. So, bye-bye Lahari, bye-bye everyone else, and adios.